What are your thoughts on just that idea in jiu-jitsu and grappling sports and in wrestling?
Yeah, the whole kind of thing about not using your strength and using your technique, I think technique is always what comes first. Depending on what sport that you do, the technique is always going to come first. The skills and the skill acquisition is always going to be number one, but the stronger you are and the better athlete that you are, the easier those techniques become to apply. Um,
Right.
you see a lot of people that are really athletic try and rely on their athleticism rather than use it to complement their technique, So that's where I think people kind of miss the ball a little bit, or
Mm-hmm.
kind of give that saying kind of what it's become today is where you have athletic people who are, built really well, really strong, really fast and explosive, and that's what they tend to look at when they're looking to escape positions or they're looking to attack in positions rather than using a technical approach to it. With technique that's backed by strength, it becomes much more effective, I believe.
How do you how do you balance those, not only as a professional but as, let's say, you're a practitioner who's just going in a couple times a week? Like, we see a lot of people come from CrossFit backgrounds, people that come from collegiate sport backgrounds, and that explosive power driven movement can be super valuable, but at the same time, the longer that you do jiu-jitsu, those movements make you predictable if it's an unequal skill set. So someone who's about to explode tends to build tension in anticipation, and then you can utilize that to read what they're going to do and turn it against them. But how do you teach your students, athletes, people that you work with, on understanding that balance of utilizing athleticism that's pre-existing but not letting it take away from the skill building side of it?
Yeah, so what happens a lot with students, being an instructor myself, it's what I'm going to say. I don't want it to be taken the wrong way, but it's really hard to get people if you say something to listen to you. Everybody,
Yeah.
yeah, if they have coaching before, like the athletic and the strong people usually played sports before, and usually a lot of people think they have it figured out, or they just have
Mm-hmm.
these habits or things kind of like burned in, instilled in them that they don't kind of really stray away from those things, And jujitsu can be a very different approach. It can be a very different methodology compared to other sports, typical sports that I see in the Midwest, like wrestling. The mindset behind wrestling and jiu-jitsu is far different, even though the sports are
Mm-hmm.
similar. The mindset behind hockey, football, baseball is all very, very different as far as how
Right.
they approach training, how they approach the game. So I think the most effective thing is to put them in specific rounds and kind of bad positions where they start to see and they start to realize, understand firsthand. It's kind of a trial by fire, but they see that their athleticism and their strength is nullified and it's not effective. And when they realize that they're getting exhausted and they realize that they're not having the success that they once thought they could, they can either be stubborn and um, choose to kind of go along a path of like a really frustrating jujitsu journey, or they can make the change. You know what I mean? And I always encourage that change to be made. But if I just say it, I don't think it has the same effect on people. I think they need to
Right.
start in a bad position or start in different positions where they're unable to use their strength and their athleticism successfully.